Hi, everyone. Uh, just getting things set up over here. This next ThankView how-to on giving days. Excited to have you here. It's like people are joining. I'm just going to kind of be quiet on the other side of the screen for now, and we'll get started when this is slated to begin at 1 o'clock Eastern. Again, thank you everybody for joining, and feel free to get settled in, and hopefully we'll have a really great chat today. So for those of you that have joined us, just a reminder that you do have Q&A available. Feel free to send me a chat if anything comes up during this webinar. I'm happy to answer any questions on the fly. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's ThankView how-to on Giving Day prep. I'm really excited to talk to you all today. I am Lindsay Roth. I'm the Community Manager over at ThankView, and I'm also the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Annual Giving at UMass Dartmouth. I love talking everything higher ed and fundraising engagement, and video is a great way to boost your strategy. So today we're really going to be talking about a step-by-step checklist that you can take back to your organization and apply accordingly. A little bit about how video can help how ThankView can help your giving day specifically, and then some campaign examples to draw inspiration from. We have Q&A slated for at the end of it, but I also love to check the Q&A box here throughout the webinar, so feel free to shoot me anything as it comes up, because I'm happy to answer questions on the fly as well. And of course, this is a conversation that does not end when the webinar is over. I am always available to brainstorm or have more personal conversations about your specific giving day if you feel it could be helpful to you. So first up, let's go over your step-by-step checklist for giving day. I broke it down into some manageable pieces that I thought were really important when launching a giving day campaign at an organization. And even, you know, it could definitely be applied to a long-standing campaign that has had a following for many years. First and foremost, you need to choose your date. Your date should not compete with other events or solicitations that are going out. If anything, you should complement it. I've seen some organizations choose move-in day, choose homecoming, sometimes a Founder's Day or other personal holiday can be really easy to take advantage of in your community. And I encourage that wholeheartedly. Just make sure that there's a strategy behind it if it is going to be added to an existing event. Tuesdays or Wednesdays tend to be the best days for high engagement and attention on social channels. So keep that in mind. And then just think creatively. If there's something that's already popular on campus or in your organization that you could just take advantage of that momentum and maximize it, I really encourage you to do that. Step 2, you're definitely going to want to brand your event. Your organization has a brand all its own, and this should be a complementary sub-brand, but it should be unique for your event. Think about, you know, using a recurring theme song with your video so that it really helps deepen the impact of your brand as you're communicating with the audience. And then if you use a product like ThankView to further brand your event, you can choose envelopes, landing pages, and frames for your video that really help go a little bit further in the process. I'm showing some examples here at UMass Dartmouth. We have this logo for the Corsair Challenge. It is sponsored by our Alumni Association, so we give them a nice call out with this Corsair mascot, but it is a little bit more fun and campy, whereas our main brand for the university is a bit more serious, as it should be. But when paired together, they complement each other very nicely and can be included on the same materials without competing. But it's quite clear that this is its own own logo. And Tabor Time here, Tabor Academy on the Cape in Massachusetts, they actually have a similar campaign as we do, 1,876 minutes to give. This is based on their founding year, and also it's set up like a stopwatch, which is really great, plays well on social again. And like I said, it's planned for the longevity of the event. It isn't specific to a specific date or occurrence of it. Instead, this is something that can be used year after year and continue to build that brand identity for this event. Create a timeline is your next step. I like to start the first phase with the silent phase. This is when you want to reach out to your major donors, secure some challenges, get funds in the door, and maybe even consider having your phone-a-thon students starting to call to book gifts in advance. Give tonight and you'll count towards the Giving Day challenge. That way you can preload your ticker with any kind, with some gifts so that you aren't starting at zero on the day of. The second phase is your public launch, and that's before the event. I suggest anything from a month to 3 weeks out, where you're launching with some sort of a digital presence, a video, maybe a live announcement. Really, I think, make whatever makes sense for you, but having a really distinctive launch publicly so that you can start to build awareness that the day is coming and that the event is happening very soon. The third phase, you're going to want to go live, and that's the day of your event. It can happen very quickly, and there are many things that up in this process, and so we'll talk. And then you're going to want to looks like my internet connection is unstable. Hopefully that resolves itself. Okay, it went away. Fourth phase is celebrating, for sure. You're going to want to celebrate big with anything like this, and thank people immediately, and just celebrate big, small, and all, because this is really about inclusivity, community, and celebrating the smaller gifts in a really big way. And then the fifth phase is you're going to want to internally debrief with your staff, and then externally debrief maybe with donors and or volunteers so that you can make some tweaks for the future. Step 4, you're going to want to create a launch video. Again, I really encourage you to be true to your community here. Homegrown content does so well, especially with ThankView, that's able to package it in a nice polished exterior. You're going to want to make sure that you explain the logistics of your event very clearly, and that you take advantage of any existing volunteers to help you spread the word and make sure that that message is reaching far and wide. I actually have an example of the launch video that we used at UMass Dartmouth, and so I'm going to play that for you now. Buffering? No? Oh, there it goes. Ooh. Sorry, it's buffering slightly, which is awkward, but you get the idea here. It really kind of outlined it very deliberately, explaining like your $10 gift becomes 20, your $50 gift becomes 100, really making sure people understand. Anywho, you got the idea from that campaign. So really, you're going to want to make sure that a message like that is spread far and wide. That last year, and then strategically made sure that we had people on that list that were prepared to immediately share it to their social channels. And again, ThankView makes it very easy to do that. And you can customize the share language so that you can actually say, like in our instance, the Corsair Challenge is coming, join me and save the date and make your gift for UMass Day. You're going to want to create some lightweight content that can really just be fun and campy and help your message spread like wildfire on social on the day of. These are things that you're going to share with your social media ambassadors, your on-campus volunteers, your staff members, to just have fun with the day in the lead up and during. Here I feature a simple GIF of a Boston Terrier running in a field of flowers with the simple caption, "It's BU Giving Day." And this is something that the team over at Boston University used. Their mascot is the terrier, but again, I think staying true to your culture and who you are. Everybody loves a puppy photo, but I think especially when your mascot is a dog, that's something you can definitely run with. The same thing for cover photos or default pictures that people can change out once they've given. Not everybody uses them, and it might not be something that you personally are into, but trust me, if you build it, people will use it. I think you can also feature prominent figures within your organization on video in the lead up and during. Maybe you're marking a special update from a dean or president or some sort of popular leadership within the student body would be great as a way to continue to engage audiences as the campaign is going on. Definitely play up any inside jokes that are things that only your community is going to get. I'm going to show an example from Tabor Academy later on in this presentation. And what's interesting is they actually have a really loud horn in their region that blares when the fire trucks need to go to put out a fire somewhere or responding to an emergency. And you can hear it echo across the campus. And so it's something that is not directly related to the academy itself. They're not doing it, but it's something that their alumni all resonate with. And they, Eliza, the person who launched that campaign, talks about their experience brainstorming, and they're trying to figure out what is the best way to get our alumni to engage with this first time event. And they ended up theming it around the horns and also the bell that releases students to and from class, the noon bell. And so sometimes it can be as simple as that. So don't overcomplicate or overthink it, because also encourage native creativity. If your athletes, if your coaches, if your alumni want to make their own posts and, go wild with video of their own or any kind of creative way that they're sort of looking to get support for the cause that they care about on your campus, let them do it. Don't try to over control it and super hype. I think at the end of the day, just make sure that it's encouraging that peer-to-peer solicitation that helps these events, and let it go, because ultimately it's going to lead back to better dividends for you and your organization, whether it's in reach and how far the message is traveling, or whether it's in donors and dollars with people giving and converting. Next up, you're going to want to build your army. Tap into existing volunteers if you have them. If you're like me at UMass Dartmouth and you don't have a really strong volunteer network that's been established for decades, we definitely reach out to faculty and staff, more specifically faculty and staff who are alumni, who we think might have a bit more of a stronger affinity than the average on-campus employee. I think leadership is a great place to also spread the message far and wide and have increased awareness. Students in maybe going to a student government meeting, or letting clubs and organizations know that this is an opportunity to raise money for their cause can be a great way to get their buy-in as well. Any existing donors that have already given this fiscal year, letting them know that this is happening as like an insider, but also asking them to make their gift early and then sign up to be social media ambassadors. And instead of, soliciting them for large gifts, noting that they've already given this fiscal year. And so if they could just give a gift to participate and join the cause, and then sign up as a volunteer, and really stewarding them even closer. And then challenge sponsors. If anybody's sponsored a challenge or is a part of the matching piece of the day, give them some special content to push out there and treat them as your insiders, because they're going to be some of your biggest advocates because they bought in from the very beginning. Next up, you're going to want to plan for your day. And this is a very truncated list, and so I'm happy to speak in more detail if you have any specific questions about logistics of the day of. I am aware that it is not as simple as 5 bullets on a screen, but at the same time, I didn't want to overwhelm you today, and just really start the conversation among your team and get planning or finding the places where maybe you're not thinking about opportunities that you could take advantage of. The headquarters is really great for just generating excitement among your closest constituency, which are your staff for that day. If you can have some sort of visible element and celebration, consider remote celebrations, especially if you have an alumni community that you can tap into. Maybe hosting a little after hours event, or alumni can stop by and watch the ticker climb, toast your organization or school with their friends, and also make sure to make their gift. It's definitely important to schedule content, and I suggest that around just the countdown. 5 hours left, 10 hours left, et cetera, not necessarily worrying about having exact updates of how the campaign is going, but just reminding people that it's still happening. There's still time to give, but time is running out, because that countdown really is what pressures people to make their gift and convert. But definitely continue to post organically on your site, on your profiles, because you just don't know how the day is going to unfold. And so you want to be able to continue to spread the energy that you're experiencing on campus, watching your event take off, and pushing that out. When I was at BU, we actually had a student serve as a host during the day at different areas of campus, and provided updates over the course of 3 different live sessions. Going live is definitely something I recommend for an event of this nature, because it's just going to prioritize your account with your audience that follows it. Facebook and Instagram are really trying to make live happen and be a thing, and so the algorithm will work in your favor. Instagram also has a really nice feature where people can request to be part of your live. And so consider maybe doing a special Q&A in honor of the day with a dean or a popular professor or a current student, or even the leader of your university. And then I think you can send personalized thank yous to donors in real time. And don't worry, we are going to go over that exact process, because I think that that's a big way that ThankView can help you send a really, really strong stewardship message following an event like this. And ultimately, say thanks. Send a thank you video immediately. Reward any active volunteers with swag or a special note of thanks. And then ultimately, any message that you send out is going to have to stress the fact that there was a lot of impact made on campus in a very short period of time, and that they were part of the community that made that happen. Then you're going to want to debrief. I really recommend the stop, start, continue model. Figure out what worked, what didn't work, and review your goals if you had any set up, whether it was donor dollar or even just reach on social media. Maybe also see like what went really well that you didn't anticipate or even think of, and maybe you can strategize around how to set goals with that in mind for the year ahead. And then ultimately, with everybody in the room and all of the people at the table that need to be part of that conversation, set a date for the next year so that it's just there, you know it, and you can start to just build your marketing strategy for the year ahead, because it will come up so quickly, and this way you're already ahead of yourself and can keep planning. Just going to check in and see if we have any questions yet. Nope. Just a reminder, the question and answer box is here. If you need anything, just feel free to shoot me a question. So how video can help your giving day? First of all, in case you didn't realize, which I'm sure this is of no shock to any of you, video is 3 to 5 times more recallable than text alone. And so when we read, we actually access the center of our brain that is built around thought. And when we watch video, we actually access the area of the brain that is centered around emotion. And so if you're thinking about convincing someone to give, do you want them to be in a place where they're just thinking and reflecting? Or do you want them to be in a place where they're being triggered emotionally and are going to then maybe be more compelled to give? Just a little tidbit from a study that Stanford did on donor behavior years ago. If you can evoke nostalgia with copy, you can do it much, much better with visuals. Think about scholarship students who are benefiting from generosity every day on campus. Think about the people who are really striving to prepare themselves for the workplace of the future. Think about the innovation that's happening. Think about all the stories that can be individually told under a common thread of this giving campaign that can really speak to people and help them give, especially the millennial generation, which really wants to see that cause-based fundraising and using your university as a vehicle to support the causes that mean the most to them. So rather than positing it as a gift directly to the behemoth that may be your organization, think of ways that you can feature really thoughtful causes that happen every single day, whether it's the dance team or, some research that's happening in the College of Engineering, or whether it's, study abroad experiences that are going on in the College of Business. Find those stories that can really get deeper than the exterior of your that isn't giving really inspired to convert. Video is also much more likely to be shared, especially on social channels, because again, people are more emotionally triggered through video and therefore feel the need to pass it on. I also think that video is a great way to share testimony. Maybe consider doing a day in the life series of a student where there's some organic content shared about how they're spending their day and what their experience is like as a student. I also think that, ultimately, when you look at activity, especially with the millennial generation, which is dominating the workforce and therefore the people who are earning capital day in and day out that then can be given out to organizations like yours. It's one of the most popular activities for them to do with their phones is to watch video. And second to that is email. And so you better make sure that you're messaging them digitally, but then also that message includes a video and that it's mobile responsive. And since you have ThankView, that's no problem because it checks all of those boxes. So let's dive into how ThankView can really help your giving day. I really think you should consider sharing your launch video in a way that deepens the impact of your brand. Maybe consider doing a special launch video for donors versus non-donors. You can also break it up and maybe do something different for the athletics community versus non-athletics constituents. You can also think of breaking it down by school and college to see if there's more engagement in some areas than others, or graduate versus undergraduate students. Again, these are all stats that you can collect by breaking up your segment in different ways. This is also a great tool for managing social media ambassadors. If you send them video that you'd like them to share on their channels, ThankView makes it very easy to literally click a button and share on Facebook or Twitter. So again, I really encourage you to take advantage of that, and you can really customize the sharing language, copy that accompanies anything that they push out on their channel. So you actually get a lot of control over that message, and all they have to do is click a button. And again, you can celebrate it really big, and then they will be even more thrilled that they signed up to volunteer with you. And then you can also request information or video content from social media ambassadors with video request. Maybe ask them to talk about their time as a student, why they're choosing to give back. Get simple snippets like join me, and you can make your gift today, celebrate giving day, and stitch those together to have a fun video again for your channel to push out on social media. Via video reply. So maybe including a plug on your solicitations that are going out, asking them to make their gift and then reply saying why they chose to give back. Might get some good responses, also may get some great content and snippets for you to repost on social. And ultimately, this is, mobile formatted and device responsive. So you can be confident that your audience is not only receiving your message, but they're watching it, because if it works on the device that they're using, the chances are is that they're going to sit through at least a piece of that message. And then personalized thank yous, I think, are a really great way that ThankView can help, and we can dive into that in more depth. So if you're interested in sending out personalized thank yous to all of your donors as a part of your Giving Day campaign, what you need to do first and foremost is set up a thank you campaign in ThankView. As you're going through, you're going to want to designate someone as a point person to oversee this project. I recommend someone who is not the overall point for Giving Day. I think somebody who maybe is a close second to that, who actually has a really good knowledge of what the software you're using for your Giving Day is and how to get donor lists out of it on a regular basis. And so set a time frame for donors to be pulled and loaded into the ThankView campaign on a regular basis. For me, it was hourly, but for you, it might be 3 times during the day because the volume just isn't as big for your population. Whatever works for you is totally fine. You're going to want to set up some spaces on campus. It might be one, it might be many, where your staff, students, and volunteers can stop by to record a thank you video. Just have like a nice background pulled up, and I have some examples to show you so that you can use that again as inspiration, and a place for them to sit and look into the camera and smile and say their thank you message, and then have a practice script on hand with just simple bullet points so that they can really make it their own. But I don't want you to let perfect get in the way of good, because even if there's a little bit of slip ups in the delivery of the message, overall that's going to read way more genuine than a highly produced video, and people are going to get really, really excited. All right. Can we get an email with these slides recording of the webinar? Absolutely, Callie. And do you recommend using a computer webcam versus filming on a phone? So yes, you will absolutely receive a recording. I'm actually going to get the recording in the cloud, and then I post the link in the Facebook group. So if you're not a member of our Facebook group yet, just search ThankView Partner Community. Send out an email after this too. I recommend filming on a phone, honestly. ThankView or an iPad. ThankView is really easy to use on mobile devices and mobile-friendly devices. And also, I feel like it'll just be a little less cumbersome. You can get a simple tripod that can hold it in place and just pop it up. Don't even have to worry, just press record, and then and you can even record it right from the software itself and send it off immediately. I think having the practice script is huge so that people can just get familiar with it, and then have a backup plan, because people might actually get very nervous when they sit down in front of a camera. So instead, have them fill out maybe a thank you card or some sort of a postcard that you can send to on-campus staff who give through interoffice mail. So let's see. And then as you load the donors throughout the day, those who do not receive a thank you will automatically populate to the top. And if you fill in the notes section with any personalization that's needed, such as the fund that they supported or any kind of special activity that you'd like to note, your person who's recording it is going to be able to see that and will be able to include that in what they're recording. I do recommend also practicing this process beforehand. And so maybe picking a campaign for some personalized thank yous and just sending it out as it comes up. You're welcome, Callie. So here are some campaign examples. Again, there's a few schools who have really done this well, but there's tons of other video examples out there. I haven't even scratched the surface. And so if you're looking for something a little more specific, feel free to reach out to me after this, and I'm happy to work with you to find something. So this first example is from, is it from Elon University? Yes, Elon University. And so they use their campaign to actually, they use ThankView in support of their campaign. And this is an example of the challenge that they sent out from the Young Alumni Council, asking their young alumni to give.
Hey, class of 2016, happy Elon Day. We've got an exciting challenge for you.
The Young Alumni Council has challenged us to give over 250 gifts. If we do, they will unlock $5,000 to give to Elon.
That's enough for 2 scholarships for study abroad or study USA.
We are Elon.
Again, really simple, very easy, quick and to the point. It's formatted really well. The message isn't too long. And then you can easily share it or the challenge. This is another example for the M&M bonus that also took place on Elon Day.
It's 75 and sunny here at Elon, and because we know you wish you were on campus, we want to announce some exciting Elon Day news. Chris Martin of class of 78 and Nick Martin, class of 2013, have launched the M&M bonus, meaning that they're going to add $50 to whatever gift you give as long as you give it early before Elon Day. So if you give $10, that's really a $60 impact. If you give $100, that's $150 impact.
So go online today and make a gift before Monday at noon, and let's make this Elon Day a home run.
Again, simple, straightforward, to the point. Click here to give. So this is Miami, and they're actually one of the universities who does their giving day in coinciding with move-in, which I'm just in awe of because there's so many different moving pieces at a university when that happens. And they have a really, really cute campaign. And so this is an example of a thank you that was recorded. We have some thank yous.
Hi, Kathy. My name is Marta Stewart from the class of 2018, and I'd like to thank you today for participating in Move in Miami, as well as your kind and generous donations to the Miami Marching Band. It's a fantastic program here at Miami University, and we are so thankful for your support to support the Miami University community in their endeavors. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you'd like to follow this campaign throughout the day, please follow us on social media, and also please share this information with your family and friends to get even more support for the Miami community. Thank you again for what you do for Miami University. We really appreciate it. We hope you have a great day.
Again, simple, straightforward, to the point. Follow our progress, share the campaign. Those are important call to actions that you want to encourage after. This is another example of a personalized thank you.
Hi, Lorene. I'm Jen Franchak of Miami University Center for Career Exploration and Success.
And I'm Brent.
I'm just going to let it load for a second. Sorry, I'll restart that. So what Miami does is they have a little step and repeat banner set up in, I think, a central location on campus, and people can go and just stop by, record a thank you, and record as many as they'd like. And again, it does a really great job of stressing the community that these campaigns focus on.
Hi, Lorene. I'm Jen Franchak.
And I'm Brent Schock of the Financial Aid Office.
We want to personally thank you for participating in #MoveInMiami today.
Your gift to the Book and Professional Attire Emergency Fund will have a deep and meaningful impact.
Oh, Jason, I'm just going to let it load.
On the lives of the Miami students that use those funds.
And it's amazing to see what can happen when the Miami family works together.
We hope that you'll follow the campaign online. Tonight and plug the campaign in your social media channels. And remember that
Apologies, I don't know why it's buffering because it's loaded, but anywho, you get the idea that, you know, this campaign was really just about stressing community and showing as many faces as possible. And, you know, like I said, I think they did a great job with having the step and the repeat in the background and making sure that people were wearing some sort of Miami gear as they filmed it. It was really cute. I thought also it would be great to show you a thank you video that we sent out at the end of our campaign last year, and we did not do personalized thank yous because we didn't really have the structure for it, but this year definitely doing that. But if that's not something that you're able to do, you can just send out a mass thank you. I just really encourage you to set it up so that it sends within an hour of your campaign's ending. And simple to the point thing I think that we could really really connect with our donor audience on. And we continued to receive donations even after this ended. So Tabor University is the last campaign example I wanted to show you. As you can see, their campaign happened in February of last year. They're definitely doing it again this year. They're a small boarding school on the Cape. Again, they use that noon bell as an inspiration. What I really liked also is that they did some personal updates. I won't play them for you here because they're quite long, but they did some video updates. They also did personal thank yous with students. This one's actually kind of short, so I can show this one.
Greetings, Fuel Nation. Thanks for inspiring our students and faculty with all your tremendous support for Tabor Academy. As you did so, I hope you remembered and celebrated your own great time, but now it's theirs.
Thank you.
We appreciate your support for our time here at Tabor.
Great time to be at school.
Sure is.
And really simple, straightforward, including people who were benefiting from it. And I think they did a great job with this campaign. So with that, But of course, as I said at the beginning of this webinar, this is not a end to the conversation. You can feel free to reach out to me directly, and I'd be happy to brainstorm with you and your team around ways that video can really help you stress impact and just increase the performance of your Giving Day campaign. So does anybody have any questions? Okay, well, while I'm waiting to see if anybody has any last minute questions coming in, I do want to let you know that in 2 weeks, we will be having a repeat of a Giving Day webinar, but this time we will focus more on how to engage your social media ambassadors and volunteers in not just using video, but social media and making sure that they're helping saturate your community with this message, especially during the event. Feel free to join me. I will post that information in the Facebook group, and we will also be sending out a sign up email for registration. So that'll probably be another popular one. Okay. Well, as I said, my name is Lindsay Roth. I'm the ThankView Partner Community Manager. You can feel free to email me directly at lindsay.roth@thankview.com. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Looks like one came in. Oh, thank you, Callie. Appreciate it. I'm glad that you liked it. And like I said, I'll be sharing the recording of this in the Facebook community group, but also we'll be emailing it out to you sometime this week. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But thank you all for joining me. I really enjoy having these, little mini sessions with all of you, and feel free to reach out if I can be of any help beyond this. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. And thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye.